Alright, I brought Eric back on Skype. You guys have seen it before in a couple other videos regarding debates politically. But you know, I've always wondered myself, what does the military really fight for? Are they really fighting for freedom or to take out those who are trying to hurt us? Because nothing seems to change as far as terrorism is concerned. We don't really have real freedom in first world countries, it seems. Eric has told me some stories in the past because he was indirectly involved or aware by knowing some people in, let's just say, secret areas. I'm going to give this video pretty much to him because I want him to expose the truth about the military, what they really do, what they truly fight for, and what really goes on behind the scenes of we're fighting for your freedom. If you're ready, go ahead.
They're not fighting for freedom. They're not fighting for that at all. Anybody who's done any research into the military will know that every single war has been funded, since Napoleon, has been funded by the government. They're not fighting for any sort of freedom. They're not fighting for any sort of purpose other than the fact that they feel that someone has done wrong to them and therefore they need to show off how big their weapons are. If you need any more proof of that, just look at the Vietnam War, for example. The war in Iraq, which is the most recent one, is with inflation by around 2050, I believe around 2050. With inflation, is going to cost the American public $7 trillion. And yet, somehow they're fighting for our freedom. But yet, if you were to look at the evidence that was provided to us by Chelsea Manning, you'll find that a lot of them are killing innocent civilians overseas, and they're covering it all up. She leaked some very, very damning information regarding the military over in Iraq, and they actually pulled them out of Iraq for a bit after all this information was leaked, but of course they're back over there now, or in Afghanistan. So it's not a case of fighting for our freedom. They are just literally killing a whole bunch of people. Now, another thing as well is that college campuses love to say things about rape culture and everything that it is debatable as to whether or not it exists or it doesn't exist. In the military, however, this sort of shit does exist when it comes to a rape culture. This is the sort of thing that actually goes on, and it's not just with women either, because there was a military base, I believe it was in Florida, if I'm not mistaken, where women were being raped and some even contracted STDs, and the military personnel covered it up and even threatened women, saying if you ever so much as tell anybody, you will be dishonorably discharged. So much so that they can even face criminal investigations into it. Not the rapists, the women. But this isn't happening with just the women either. This is happening with children as well. Children are being used as a product. I mean, this is being funded by taxpayers' money and by the government. There are a lot of rings within the military that a lot of people either don't want to talk about, or don't know about, or don't even have a problem with. These rings are being committed by high personnel, military people, and they're just going around finding as many kids as they can, sodomizing them, and in some cases even killing them. This is something that a lot of people don't either know or don't talk about, and if you do bring it up, a lot of people get very, very angry about it. A lot of people get very upset about it if you so much as mention it, because the military, the media has wanted to portray the military as this godsend, almost like as this a group of saviors that are coming to look after you and make sure that you're okay, and that you're absolutely fine, and that there's nothing to fear with these people in charge. It's all lies. It's all bullshit. Now, of course, there are military personnel who are going into it and fighting for people's freedoms, yes. But the thing is that they get so brainwashed into this culture that they're not a human, that they're a machine, and that they're basically nothing more than just a simple drone to do what they're told by the higher-ups. And if they don't do what the higher-ups ask them to do, they're either dishonorably discharged, and they have no life whatsoever. They end up homeless. They end up losing everything, or they end up becoming a victim themselves. And I don't necessarily need rape either. These places are exceptionally dangerous, and I'm not just talking about U.S. military. I'm not talking about like the UK military or the Canadian military. I'm talking about the military in general. These places are fucking dangerous, and these people are absolutely hell-bent on making sure that people like myself, people who actually know and understand what's going on, are kept quiet. And it's absolutely ridiculous. The more, I think the more that people delve into it, the more it becomes sort of like because I mean, a lot of people will, like, you're hanging out with your friends or something, and you get a bit bored on the weekend, and you decide, hey, I'm gonna go on the deep web, or a bit of a laugh, see what's on there, and you delve deeper and deeper and deeper into it, and you see more and more depraved shit that happens in these places. It's the same thing with this. You know, you just fucking. It's almost to the point where. I think the public are starting to realize it, but they keep quiet about it. It's become so bad. It's become that bad. Like I said, it's sort of like when you're on the deep web and you get into more and more depraved shit, the longer you're on there. It's the same thing with this. The more you research the military and what they're truly about, the more you realize that these people are just putting on a front. And like I said, it's not just, it's not everybody that's in there. It's not the people that are out there fighting. It's the people that are in the higher-ups we're talking about. People like the sergeants, the lieutenants, you know, all those sorts of people. Not all of them, but a good amount of them, to the point where I'm even willing to bet that these people have it in cahoots with like people like the Clintons and the Podestas. And that's not even a joke. I feel that, I'm not going to lie to you, Matt, I'm nervous about making this video because I do worry that people aren't going to listen. People are just going to cover their ears and not pay any attention to this. And the thing that really, really bothers me about that is the thing that really bothers me about that is that the more people don't listen and the more people don't pay any attention to this, the more it's going to continue happening, and the more it's going to continue being funded, and the worse it's going to get. You know, and I've spoken to people who are ex-military people who have come out with all these different kinds of mental illnesses because of the shit that they've seen. They don't get any help. They're not funded with anything. They're simply put along their merry little way, unless they're part of that little group. Then they get the help they need, if they so much as have PTSD or something like that. But if they're not part of that group, they don't get any help. And that's the reason why we have so many homeless military people coming out.
A lot of homeless veterans, even here, tons of them.
Yeah. And yet, we're expected to just sit back and think, you know, nothing's wrong. You know, the government has enough money to help these people. They do. You know, and if you think otherwise, then I just ask of you, if they don't have that money, how is it Justin Trudeau was able to send $80 million, I think it was, to Syria? And how was it that Theresa May was able to spend 1.5 billion pounds to stay in power. They've got the money, they've got the resources, but they don't want to help these people because they're the enemy. People like me, people like those sorts of people who speak out against this stuff, they're the enemy. And they don't want that sort of shit. They don't want it. You know, and it does sound a bit tinfoily hat, I understand. You know, it sounds like I should be sitting here with a big microphone, you know, 70 pounds heavier in her suit going, man, the NWO are going to be towering all over us, the NWO. I know it sounds like that, but, that hurts my throat. I know it sounds like that, but this is a real thing that's happening. And a lot of people are going to ask, you know, well, how do you know about this sort of stuff? How are you familiar with this sort of stuff? What is your proof? The simple fact is that I've gone through it. And I don't like making that public, and I really feel uncomfortable making that public.
Alright, so we had to cut for a minute. This is difficult for him to talk about, which I understand. But it's also very important that there is evidence for this. Because even when he told me originally, months ago, even I had trouble believing it, and of course I'm usually open to all of this kind of stuff. So, it's one of those things that's hard to believe, but he knows, and I know, that we need to have the evidence and how he knows about this. So,
the reason how I know about this kind of stuff is because I've experienced it firsthand. I'm sorry. I'm not going to go into detail as to who it was. There's somebody who I knew who was in the military. I don't know if I can fucking do this, man. I can't fucking do this.